You got to ask a good question. I don't know if I'd done this one before, but it was asking if you switch Denzel Washington and Sidney Poitier's careers, who would have fared better? It's a good question. As you know, Sidney Poitier was like the first black man that had the extensiveness of his career. He was solely out there in Hollywood, and he was solely out there with the awards and being the lone black leading man. Denzel Washington benefited from it there 30 years later. So the question is, who would have been able to prosper if they had to switch places? And also, I guess it comes down to depth. It comes down to who was more versatile. It comes down to who do I think with the range. And I'm looking at them both in characters, both at the same time of their careers. So Sidney Poitier obviously played the straight-laced guy. You had a lot of incredible roles, a lot of things that he did. Denzel Washington's rise was a little bit different. He had done plays, he had done films, etc. But it was actually the roles of the takes when he did St. Elsewhere TV. You know, it was a different climb that he took upon. So it was a different journey. But anyway, who would have fared better had they been able to switch places? Who do I think out of Sidney Poitier and Denzel Washington? Imagine Sidney Poitier getting a chance to work with Spike Lee. Then we switched Denzel Washington working with Bill Cosby in the 70s with those comic roles and sidemen. Who would have fared better? Because I watched them both. Sidney Poitier didn't have what you call a lot of lead romantic roles, but they were lead romantic roles. He had chemistry and he did different roles. I don't know if Denzel Washington would have pulled off Lilies of the Field, because I remember in The Preacher's Wife, which was him and Courtney B. Vance and Whitney Houston and Gregory Hines, he did Loretta Devine. He did good, kind of stiff. Because the thing is, Denzel Washington's comedy movies didn't really do much for me. They really didn't hit me. Whereas Sidney had good timing. Sidney had a certain coolness that worked. Also as a director. So Uptown Saturday Night, Let's Do It Again, Piece to Action. And they still held. Denzel's one of those kind of guys, his best was his best. But it's kind of like, if I had to flip and I had to think about the scene with Rod Steiger with the slap, I think Sidney Poitier got the edge. I just think that Sidney wins out as far as comedy